Hey everyone, welcome to Highly Unlikely with Josh and Jenaye. Glad you're here. And we're doing another episode of Questions from the Bowl / Questions from an App.
Yes.
And hopefully inspiring you to get some conversation starters, get some friends or get your spouse, and get to know them by asking really good questions, whether you think of them on your own or you use tools like we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we do on date night, almost every date night, unless we have like tons of other stuff we want to talk about.
Right.
We usually open our app and do conversation starters. Last episode we did of this was fun. So we thought, let's just do another.
Yep.
Am I going first?
Yeah.
Oh, I am. I'm so sorry. I didn't have it ready.
It's all good.
Ooh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. What's the best way for me to help you or communicate with you when you feel overwhelmed?
I think reaffirming decisions that I'm making and telling me I can do it. I'm like, some people need a coach who's in their face, who's like, come on, run faster. You got this, you know? And I need somebody who's like, I believe in you. And so I think it's because I really respect your voice and your opinion.
Right.
And so when I can tell that you're in it with me and encouraging me in it, then it like emboldens me to, yep, she's with me. We're going in this together, even if it doesn't go well.
Right.
You know, It wasn't just me going solo, you know.
Yeah.
We go together. That's just who we are. We go together.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
What do you think?
I think it's so interesting how the Lord brings people together, because you say that as your answer, and I just automatically think like, Lord, why did you maybe he didn't make me this way, but I'm just so not a natural affirmer.
That's why I kind of made
because I don't need it.
Yeah.
Because I usually don't. Which,
right.
But it's good to know, because that's why
I've said
love
that
one
to you,
another
like,
where one
in
another's
those
at.
moments of like, hey, I don't need I don't
you're
need
very
challenge
clear
right
on
now.
that.
Like,
Yes,
I just need encouragement.
Josh is very good in life. Well, and even just the context of our marriage of like voicing what he needs in a moment.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, and I don't do this often enough, but it came up again in a conversation I was in. The best question you can ask your spouse in those moments is, what do you need me to do? Do you want me to listen, or do you want me to take action?
Right.
You know?
That's so true.
Are you asking me to do something, or are you asking me to just hear you?
Yeah. I just feel like this for me is a harder question. I think I am because the question is like, what's the best way for me to help you or to communicate with you when you feel overwhelmed? And I think I'm far more of, when I'm overwhelmed, I want to see action will make me feel supported. Where it sounded way more like verbal, communication, affirmation, I'm with you. Where I'm more like, are you going to jump in with me and help? Or like, when you say, I would say that's kind of how I react with that or feel.
I think even like right now with all the planning and stuff you're doing, you're like, I just need you to handle some stuff at home and give me space to knock stuff out. You know?
Yeah. Like we know for us, conference month, which is when we're recording, is like, well, it's almost September for us right now. And September is it's interesting. It's my birthday month. And some people are like all about their birthday month, which I'm like, really, it's conference month for me more than it's my birthday month. And I said to him the other day, hey, it was just like a throwing it out there. Hey, just heads up, I have way more nights, in the next however many weeks. I'm going to have to put in, the time I have to put in to get the things done. And you're good, right? Like, you're not going to see me as much, but we're good, right?
You're going to be doing bedtime.
Yeah, there's seasons where one of us is doing more bedtime than the other.
Right. Okay. We're not going to do that one. I think we did that one already. Let's do it again. No, we already did it.
Josh has the stack from the bowl, which we're realizing we definitely need to get some new ones for the bowl.
Yes. If you weren't here, what would you be doing?
If I was not here in this moment right now, but it's still my normal life, I'd be with my kids. Yeah, I'd have gotten them from school. be with my kids.
If I was not in this room right now, I would be sitting in a room with 2 people on our leadership team making a decision about a future hire, honestly.
Oh, I didn't consider that I'd still have to be at work.
Yeah, I immediately thought of what else is on my calendar that needs done today.
No, if I did, I am a person where when I need a deep work day, I usually work from home because I get quadruple more done. So I still would probably be at home, but probably not actively playing with our kids. All right. I don't know if we want to do this one.
Okay, I have a good one off the app.
Oh, okay.
What are things on your bucket list you want to accomplish?
Oh my.
You're not a bucket list person.
I'm not.
I just wanted to answer this question.
I know. A thing on my bucket list that I want to accomplish is to actually make a bucket list. Is that a cop-out answer? I don't have a bucket list. I'm not like, I want to do this one trip and I want to, I don't think it doesn't mean I'm a dreamer, but
yeah.
I have some things I think would be super cool and fun to do as a family, but if it doesn't happen, I still think I'm going to have a really fulfilling life.
Yeah, I think you have a bucket list. It's you want to pay for family vacations for our kids when they're older.
That's true. I do have a bucket list. You're right.
Like it's
it
just
all
different.
deals with
It's
family.
It's not travel. Like a lot of people's
it's not
bucket
about
list is travel.
me, really. It's about like, what are you leaving? So okay, you jogged my memory of, okay, what do I actually care about? Yeah, I want to be a person that it's common to say to our kids, hey, you guys can come with us. This is what we're paying for everyone to go. You know, like
I literally told the kids this in the car, like, hey, someday one thing mom and dad want to do is, invite you, and when you guys have families, to like go on vacation and us help pay for it. I was like, isn't that cool? And literally I realized, oh, my kids are too small to like understand this because they all looked at me like, that's not cool, Dad. That's not cool.
Well, but they're like, yeah, you already do that. Duh.
That's true.
Like they have no context of what anything a trip would cost. Mm-hmm. But even with that, another one popped in my mind, but I forgot.
Well, mine are all about me.
They are, but you're a good dreamer.
I want to go to Norway, and to Germany because that's where all my heritage is. I want to go to all 4 ATP tennis Grand Slams at some point in my life.
For those that don't understand, and that was Spanish, what does that even mean?
That means the U.S. Open, Wimbledon in London, the Australian Open in Australia, and Roland Garros, the French Open in Paris.
Only one of them is local.
Only one is local. The rest, every single time I get invited to travel anywhere, I always look if there's a tennis tournament nearby that I can slip into for a day.
Which you have gotten to go, one?
I've been there one time, yeah.
To one. One time it worked out when you were somewhere.
Yeah. I also want to write a book and I want to do an African safari. I think those are the selfish like travel things that I've like always wanted to do. Yeah,
Josh values travel so much more.
Yeah, it's very life-giving to me.
Yes. And you said something else that made me, it's been interesting in marriage, like hearing these desires and like dreams. Because sometimes I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I didn't ever realize I don't think I realized how much you love tennis when we were dating. Mm-hmm. Like I knew you had like a Rafa shirt, like you cared about tennis, but one day Josh came down the steps. You know what I'm going to say.
Here we go.
Yes. One day he came down the steps and his eyes were like puffy.
No, they were not puffy.
They were red. And he was like, I just like sobbed. Josh does not cry. Like
I do cry.
I've seen him cry. Okay, you do, but it is very rare. Like it has to be something.
I either have to be tired or it has to be
It really has only ever been extreme loss or like an extremely scary situation with one of our kids health-wise.
Listen, from a young age, I learned to process my emotions very internally.
Okay. Yeah, you're good at it. And I was like, oh, are you okay? Like what happened? And he's like, I just watched a documentary on Roger Federer's last game. I was like, what? Like, You didn't even cry this much after we birthed our children.
I did cry a lot when Avery was born.
Not in front of me, though. That's
No.
true. It wasn't ever in front of me.
No.
You, I think, were
I was
trying to be really strong. You were.
Yeah.
Which you were strong. It was just, yeah.
I did cry.
I laughed so hard.
No, she goes, the things that make you cry.
That is what I said.
It's like, don't you want to know why? Don't you want me to share about how meaningful it was?
So yeah, going to all those grand slams is on your list. And one time you tried to get, and we're just way different. And I'm like, bless you as you go, man. Like,
Yeah.
you go do it, babe. You go
So all
do
my
this
friends,
African safari.
all my friends out there that are listening to Highly Unlikely, please start saving up with me. And
I think once our kids are older, my mind would shift. But I just am so like,
I'm just training them to want to go with me.
right. I'm sure it would be fun. I just, sometimes I'll see like, oh, like, to pay for that or to, it's just like not worth it to me,
Mm-hmm.
But once we had this like opportunity to potentially go to where we were going, maybe Tanzania, which we never did because I think COVID happened or whatever. But it was like, hey, we could do this, like safari's a part of it, all these different things. And like somehow that week in the news or like on social media was like these people on a safari and this rhino like got so ticked and was like, galloping like right behind the safari thing, and I like show him, and I was like, "No thanks, sir. No, thank you." Okay, next question. What was the best family vacation memory from your childhood?
Oh man, I just go right to we'd go to Hills Alive in Spearfish, South Dakota every summer with a large group of teenagers, and we had this big orange Dodge van. I think it was the Dodge, and we'd put like way too many teenagers.
Well, back when there was like minimal laws for that stuff, right?
You didn't have to have seatbelts. I mean, we would be like singing praise and worship songs, jumping up and down in the van, and the van's just going down the highway. And I just love those memories. I got left at a gas station alone one time.
Are you kidding me? How long did it take them to figure out?
I think there was literally like probably 15 people in the van. And so it's like Jesus, like not that I'm Jesus, but that they just left him behind because there's a whole caravan of people and they just figured he was with somebody, And then I don't think they like even got out of the parking lot, but I made sure that I milked it with my parents all the time I was the forgotten child.
Yeah.
So. But
that's funny.
That's one of my favorites.
I've referenced this to Josh before. My family did take a lot of different trips, but one that was super fun we would, with other families that like we were family friends with, we would kind of caravan to like Red Lodge or Big Sky.
Yeah.
And I can't remember whether we do a resort or like all get a big cabin or cabins next to each other. And that's where, like when you can envision the place and envision the people and we would just like ski and it was really fun. And that was probably, just the best overall like vacation memory as a kid was but that was something that was like recurring. So you looked forward to it. So yeah.
What would you tell your spouse if they stunk?
The joke I want to make is I don't have to because you never stink.
That's what she always says.
Common conversation in our marriage.
I can smell myself.
He'll be like, "Oh, I need to change. I stink." And I'm like, babe, I've never once been like, "Oh, Josh smells like something. BO, whatever."
What would our kids say? Your breath stinks.
Oh, yeah, which is to any one of us, any moment we don't have gum in our mouth.
Right.
Aren't kids just so honest? Okay.
They just say
what would I tell you if you stunk?
Yeah.
I would say, babe, you kind of stink right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
Yep.
Or like, I'd say, what's that smell? Like I'd ask you, because I'd assume you like brushed up against something or like we were somewhere.
Yeah. What
would you say if I stunk?
I would say, I feel like you'd be like, I think I'm going to take a shower. And I'd be like, that's a great idea.
So if I stunk, you'd just let me stink?
So I'd be like, the shower's on? No, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would say.
I'd probably tell me that I
do
stunk?
exactly like, I'm trying to be innovative in my answer, not just say, I'd say what you'd say. But I'd probably just say what you say.
I think it's okay if our answers are the same.
I think that's what it would be.
Ooh, this one, which is kind of funny. What are your ideas for getting out of debt?
Oh my gosh. We've done a whole podcast on it.
We have. Skip. We're very passionate about it, if you did not know that.
Mhm.
And we did it. We don't have to have any more ideas. We did it.
Okay, back down to earth a little bit.
All right.
Over the last 5 years, how have you changed?
Oh, golly. 5 years ago, I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. What are you going to say?
I feel like you're less anxious.
Oh, 1,000%. I've been stripped of a lot of things from the Lord has in his loving kindness. That's one of them, which I think was actually a control problem.
I think you're more confident in your voice and just being
which
who
is
you are.
also like a no fear of man problem. Like I was stripped of that, so you're more confident in the voice God's given you when you're not worried about fearing man and you're really only fearing the Lord. Man, I've learned a lot. Like, I think of like managing a household. Like, we moved into a space that was just definitely bigger yard and all these different things, and like just what it takes to like manage a household of 5. And now I would say it's 6 with our dog. But then you're not just managing a household, you're managing a team of people. Like, even I was late to coming down to record this because I was sitting with someone and just like who's leading really well and just getting to talk with them because they've navigated some harder leadership things. And I feel like, in some of these conversations, 5 years ago, I think I still would have been like, do I really have anything to offer, But you're like, you realize how much you've learned just through experience and the Lord providing his wisdom. And so to be able to look at them and be like, you're doing great. You did the right thing and you led really well there, no matter what the situation may look like right now. If you walk through exactly how it was done, like you did a great job, It was, that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you probably have a better observation of myself in that than I do. But
Yeah.
how about you?
Do you have any observations?
You start talking. I'll interject if I do.
I'm thinking like I feel like I've grown in telling myself no. And I can think of that through a lot of different areas. Like things I joked about, like selfish bucket list stuff, but it's just telling myself no on some things that just aren't important in this season, or stuff that maybe I impulsively, would have just done or moved forward because I wanted to. And I think I've just somewhat learned to slow down a little bit. Which is funny because it's like a full season right now, but I think
in
hope
5 years you've gotten the best facial hair I've seen in my life. You guys might live my dream. My husband stopped shaving his beard and I'm so happy.
I know, and I can feel the little hairs on my lip and it bothers me.
Pick at them sometimes. And you've I think this is so superficial, but you've discovered your style. Right now, just looking at you, I've been telling him you're aging so well, babe. Wow, what a catch.
Come on.
I mean it. And I say it to you just in our home.
I told you I am going to get better with time.
You are, and I'm so grateful.
And
I hope we both do.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not just external, but it's internal. And I believe that. I'm you're more empathetic. You are a better leader. You lead our home better than you did 5 years ago. You found your confidence that in who you are authentically, who God has made you to be and to lead and to, you're not comparing. I have to be like this person. And I think that ties into you saying I don't have to do X, Y, Z now, because I think there's a lot of what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? Yeah.
I also feel like I'm more confident in, even if the earth all around me is shaking.
Yeah.
Just being okay.
I would agree with that.
Which I think it's huge.
Okay, we can probably do one more.
Okay. I got one.
You do?
Yep. The house is on fire.
Oh, golly.
Everyone is safely out.
Does everyone include a dog?
Charlie is safely out.
Okay.
All the wallets and cash are saved. If you could make one last dash to get something, what would it be and why? I know my answer.
Oh, please go then.
I would grab our safe.
Oh, that's very practical of you.
Like,
I was trying to go with like sentimental
if all the
value.
stuff in that safe disappeared, that would be very...
Okay, when you said like wallet and stuff, I was thinking like passports, birth certificates.
Okay,
like,
let's just count that stuff.
Yeah, like anything, like you could still have an identity. Let's say, like social security card, all that stuff is fine. It's safe. What would I grab?
I would probably grab the $5,000 that I have hidden in our house.
Shut up.
I'm kidding.
Shut
Jenaye
up.
always acts like I have all this hidden money somewhere.
Okay.
So that's just a joke.
No, he doesn't hide money. There's sometimes where like he'll get random like cash here or there. $20 here. Like
yesterday she got my
cash
pickup
a
and
check.
she goes, "Where'd this $40 come from?"
And it's like, oh, you picked up the toys we donate, or like did the whole like once upon a child, and you got $20.
Yeah.
No, it's more like sometimes I'm like, where do you get this cash? But he's always been open of like, hey, we have like, if we're going on a trip, it'll be like 2 or 3 months out, and he'll be like, hey, we're going to Arizona or whatever. And just so you know, I've just been like, any extra cash I have, I just am like storing it up. So then we have this little like cash reserve when we go on a trip, and we don't really have to worry as much. So I'm like so grateful when you do that. But there's sometimes where we reach a point in our budget meetings or different things, we're like, do you just got some cash hidden around that we could pull on?
Anyways,
So,
that's my
the
joking answer.
$5,000.
Hidden in our house. We
Oh
always
my
growing
gosh,
up, we were
no.
sure that there was 3 different houses on our property because the people
Growing
who
up.
had owned the land had built a house and then built another house and built up another house. And we were always sure that she hid a bag of cash somewhere or buried it. So we were always like, where would she have put it? Because she's just that kind of
Did
a
people
person.
actually used to do stuff like that?
I think so. Like if you didn't have
Like
a
a
safe
bank?
place to put it, like,
Or
and you
a-
had property, like just hide it somewhere.
How crazy would that be?
Yeah. Anyways,
I did see a video about people. There's this thing of like magnet hunting where people throw this super strong magnet into like, not rivers. I'm saying like waterways that run through cities and stuff, and they'll like pull out bikes, or they're, some people clean places like that. I just saw this a couple weeks ago, and a couple like pulled out a safe, and it had like maybe $20,000 or something in it, and they turned it in. No one claimed it, and so they got the money.
yeah,
It was like, what?
that's wild.
Way to go for being like having integrity with it. So,
Right.
what was the? Oh, I have to grab something.
If you could make one last dash to get something, what would it be?
I think
And
I do
why?
really think it would be. Yeah, I do think it would be. My answer wants to be like my Bible, but my journal, or my journals if they're like all by each other. Because I'm like, you can't get the back. You don't, and like that's like revelation from the Lord. That's like God like walking you through. So I can get a new Bible. The one Bible that's probably most fun to me is the one that starts in Genesis 24, because my kids ripped off the cover
Right.
and then the first however many pages, because that was like the Bible from when I first came to know the Lord and I first read through all the scripture. And it's like
Yeah.
all your first like bits of revelation. And I had to get a new Bible. I still have that old one, but it's like sometimes I look back and I'm like, what did I seen here at one point when I read it? So that like those Bible journals, if that's all counts as one,
Yes.
or maybe just
that
one
counts.
of them. But
Mine would be our memory bin. Like that's down under the steps.
oh, the kids stuff.
Like the kids, there's some of our stuff in it now. I combined them, I think.
Oh,
But it just there's a lot of like written stuff and
that's true.
stuff from when they're born.
We need to get a bigger safe.
Yeah, we do.
The thing is, our safe is fireproof. If we just get a bigger one,
We could just
we
leave
would
it.
just not worry.
Yeah.
We'd be like, okay, it'll
We'll
still
get it
be there
later.
when it's all done.
Right, that's true. That's actually probably true. A good
That's,
investment.
action point. Family action point.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the last one, wasn't it?
Well, we do have time for one more if you want to throw one more in there.
Oh, gosh. I don't feel like I had a good one that popped up.
Okay.
This was fun.
This was fun.
It doesn't really count as date night because it's for a podcast. But
Right.
I feel like I just got to just talk to you, which is
We're
fun.
taking our kids on date night this week, which is not recommended, but it'll be fun.
Well, they need dates sometimes too.
They do. You took Berkeley on a date yesterday.
I did, and she was literally grinning ear to ear,
yeah,
and it was
she
just
loved
lunch. Literally, I took her to lunch because I had her for a couple hours during the day, and yeah, she just loved it.
Yep.
She got some mac and cheese.
Of course, the only
Berkeley.
thing she eats.
Yep, you know. Well, not only, but if it's the color beige, she'll probably eat it. All right.
Fun.
Well, thanks for listening in. We hope we did a couple quick episodes like this with questions, and maybe you got to get to know us better if you go to our church, or maybe you're inspired to like be more intentional with your spouse or your family or your kids with questions. And so take the ones that we said or find your own, but integrate this in your life and live a highly unlikely life of intentionality. So rate, subscribe, all those things we say every single time because it helps the podcast, and we're so appreciative when you do it. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.